never. Bye. Andiamo.
A little signed card from Julian. Wonder if he actually signed this. Some wristbands. I don't really use wristbands, so some Volair stickers. And this nifty sound button.
Andiamo. Andiamo. Come on, now or never. Bye.
Okay, so this is a first look at the Mach 1 from Volair, which is Julian Arnold's signature paddle. To me, it looks pretty much like a Yola Vision 14, which was the paddle that I believe Julian was playing with prior to the Mach 1. Same shape and material at first glance. Not sure if they did anything different. I don't think that they did. I looked at their site and their marketing material. There's no edge foam in this paddle, no thermoform construction, no fancy bells and whistles. It doesn't scream Andiamo when you strike a ball. It's just an overall solid paddle for $160. So the Mach 1 comes in two different thicknesses, 14mm and 16mm. I got the 14mm because I just like that extra power. I'm gonna take it out for a spin, but you can't just go play with this paddle with just anybody. So I tried calling Julian.
You have reached the voicemail box of
and it went straight to voicemail. So I had to settle for local Volair extraordinaire Grant Bond.
There he is.
Oh no.
So it's no secret that I have recently been playing with a lot of these newer paddles that has foam injected into the edges and throughout the handle and that are thermoformed, so they have much more power. So I was curious to see how going back to a regular paddle would be like. I will have to say that it was kind of nice going back to a regular paddle, surprisingly. What you lose in power and pop, you gain back in utility. It's just a bit more forgiving when you are trying to reset and drop balls into the kitchen as you are transitioning, and you can hit some of the more finesse and angled shots with a bit more confidence. I did mess around with the 16mm a bit, and I thought it was a bit too plush for my liking and it lacked power. The 14mm felt like a good middle ground, and it didn't play as stiff or as hard as other 14mm paddles that I've played with before. It was surprisingly forgiving. I did think it was a bit too light for my liking, so Grant gave me a 14mm paddle with some additional weight at the throat and at the head of the paddle, and it made it feel way more solid. Highly recommend. We ended up playing a few singles games, and you can peep my performance in these next few clips. Now, I got Julian's paddle, but I sure as hell didn't play like him. Obviously, your ground strokes are way more important in singles, and I will say when it came to ground strokes, I missed that extra power that I was getting from the thermoform paddles. My shots just felt like they were landing a bit short and lacked pace. I'm sure with time this can be adjusted for, but really, it just doesn't compare with some of the power that can be generated from the newer thermoform paddles on the market. Spin felt adequate and not lacking, nothing that blew me away, but honestly, if it's good enough for Julian, it's probably good enough for you. All I'm saying. I did find that you had to get under the ball quite a bit more with this paddle when performing your ground strokes. It doesn't have quite the bite and pop to lift the ball like how I'm normally used to, but that's probably a benefit for me to stop me from being lazy and, using poor technique. On a side note, I do wish they made a limited edition of this paddle that said Andiamo on it, like on the side instead of Volair. I think that would have been really cool. Yo, what do you think about the paddle?
Oh, it's awesome, man. Just check the film against you in the first game to see why I like this thing so much. So.
You can't listen to this guy. He's a Volair shill.
No, it's pretty good. I like it. I like the 14 a little better than the 16. A little more pop. But still, some control in those angles and the volleys. I like it a lot.
Oh man, it's good stuff. All in all, I thought for a signature paddle of Julian Arnold, it's a very capable paddle at a pretty fair price, but nothing is going to wow you about it or like change your game drastically. With all the other raw carbon fiber offerings out there, I don't know that I would choose this paddle, but I wouldn't be upset playing with it if I had the right weight setup. I would probably pick it over the SLK Halo, some of the GRUVN paddles, the Yola Visions, and definitely the new Gearbox GBX, even the older carbon models. Like I said before, it's a good paddle and provides fairly good value, and it's Volair's first paddle, and they did do a decent job in my opinion. Excited to see if Volair continues to provide more offerings and innovate. There you have it. That's my first look at the Mach 1 from Volair. Let me know if you played with this paddle and what you think about it. Links and potential codes in the description below if you're interested in purchasing the Mach 1. I may or may not get a kickback if you do decide to use my code at no additional cost to you. Till next time, play better.